were feeling. So it was scary.
And he mentioned that people were mad when he got back after HUD 135, or that they didn't talk to him for a month or something like that.
Did he say who it was? It wasn't me.
I think he said...
Was it my sister? My sister.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit about, so after Bill's first attempt at Arrowhead, you were frightened that...
Sure, yeah. After Bill's first attempt at Arrowhead, and then to find out that he was, in civilization, actually, because even though he spent the night in the sleeping bag, he was very close to the town. He was like right next to the town, but he didn't know that. And knowing those kind of errors or those kind of things that are happening, we're just really worried, right? And so my sister takes it to, another level, and she's really upset at him. So she thinks he should not be doing this at all, doesn't want to talk about it, doesn't want to talk to him about it. He needs to just kind of knock this stuff off, because he's not thinking about other people, he's thinking about himself and what he's doing, and he's not seeing what it's doing to the rest of us. And especially her, with a lot of stress from that type of episode to go through the night like that.
And how did that get resolved eventually? Like by his 8th attempt, how is that feeling? How is that worry changed?
So coming into now his 8th attempt, and how that would make us feel as opposed to the first. He has learned a lot, so he has spent a lot of time educating himself in the different things that could go wrong, the right sled weight, the right gear, what happens, when you get frostbite. He spends a lot of time doing it. So you would think, so yeah, it makes us a little bit more comfortable, about that much more comfortable, because every time he does it, something else goes wrong. So what he doesn't know, he doesn't know. So we don't know what that is. And so the worry is still there. It's not there until he's done and he's safe. It's just not going to be.
And did Karen eventually mend her relationship with Bill in terms of talking about Arrowhead 135?
Yeah, Karen did. Karen, after a month maybe, Karen was okay with Bill and go back and talk to him. Different times she'd pull back, like, I don't want to hear about it. And then at certain points, I don't remember which ones she stopped at, she would stop tracking him. She didn't want to track him anymore. She didn't want to hear what he was doing. It's best if she's left to only hear that he's finished or he's safe. That's all she wanted to hear. So she had to kind of pull herself out of this because it was bothering her so much. So, which left me with more to make sure that he's okay as a family member watching.
Yeah, because you can't control his life. Like, you have to let him do what he's gonna do. So I'm sure she was feeling kind of helpless with that.
She was frustrated, very frustrated. Yeah.
What type of racer is Bill? So you mentioned sort of like he doesn't like cutoffs. So is he a very fast type of racer, or is he very slow and determined?
Can I talk about the the Iron Man that he watched one time when he was a kid? Or no? Not a kid, but adult. No, skip that right now. Okay. So Bill... Okay, let me try this again. Okay, so Bill is not a fast racer out here. Not at all. He's very slow. He's going to be towards the back of the pack, if not the very one in the end. Which of course makes it even harder because you're thinking people are around him. No, that's not always the case. So he's back, he starts out with them, but days into this, now he's back by himself. And that's where he's at. I mean, he's just going to be that slow thing. So when there's a cutoff time in a race, oh my gosh, the stress of that is really tough on him. And I always say, don't enter these races with the cutoff times. We know this is so hard on you. You're just not that athlete that's going to come out and be in the top or even finish past those, in front of those cutoff dates, right? I mean, those cutoff times, they're tough. They're tough for him. Very, very tough.
So he's not the necessarily fastest runner, but is he the most determined? Is he the most...
See, it goes back to my story though, but Bill's... Okay. So for what Bill lacks in speed, he has for passion. So his passion and who he is that makes him up is the underdog, the heart of trying to get through these things without having the skill sets, without having the body that's made to do it, without maybe having all the training, even though he puts a ton of time into training, as other people here didn't grow up in the snow, not practicing every day up there like that. He's practicing here in California. So he has a lot of things that are against him, and it puts him into the slow category. But he makes up for that with his passion of doing these things.
Let's talk, or do you need water or anything?
Oh, yeah, I love water. Are you too bored over there? Kyle, any feedback? Because you're going to be honest with me.
No, you're doing good.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's my honest feedback. If I was sucking, he'd tell me, though. Kyle's always my go-to. He's like, Mom, you shouldn't have said that.
So let's talk a little bit about training and how does Bill train? Does Bill train hard? And how does that make you feel? And again, why does he have to train? Like, is it training for these crazy conditions?
Yeah, wow. Excuse me, the water. Yeah, Bill puts so much time into training. I mean, it's number one in his life. It consumes most of the hours in his day that he puts into these things. And it's been that way for a long period of time. So it's not something that just kind of comes in waves. He's committed to that. 95% of the time it's isolated, so he's by himself. And Bill's a very extroverted person that needs people. So when he's doing this, it just kind of seems like the opposite of what I would put him at if I put him into something. But that's how passionate and determined he is for his goals, to put himself through this rigorous type of training all the time. And it's constant. I mean, it's 7 days a week, hours and hours a day of this training, of just monotonous training, the type that's very difficult to do. I think like Olympians do that, but do regular people do that? It's crazy. It's a crazy training regimen. And he gives up a lot to do this. He gives up a lot of his life to be doing this.
Does he have to train that hard for the conditions he's going into?
Yes, he probably does have to train this hard for all the conditions he's going into. Doesn't make it hard to see. I mean, it does make it easier for me to see that, but he does have to train that hard. They're warranted of all the stuff. I'd rather have him train like that and not have to worry because he's getting to be more of an expert at what he's doing. That would be better.
So does him training that hard in some ways make you feel better about him going into the races?
Yes, it does. Knowing that he's spent enough time in for that certain race. But what happens is he's training, like he'll be training for Arrowhead, right? And then right behind that is another race, and now you're climbing a mountain, and did he get enough training in for that? Is it split, and is he okay doing that too? I don't know. We're always going to worry. There's always be something to worry. But yes, having him train more is important, so.
Yeah. Let's see. What are the conditions like in Arrowhead 135 from your perspective?
This recent one?
Let's see. Should we go into the polar vortex? Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
When did you learn about the polar vortex? Sorry, different question. Was it a few days before? You know how Bill called you and was like, oh, it's only going to be -22, and then all of a sudden, polar vortex, and what was a polar vortex?
Yeah, so about a week before the race was going to take place up at the Arrowhead 135, I was talking to Bill, and he says he's at, it's going to be -120, sorry, not 122. Let's try this again. Okay, so about a week before the race was taking place, Arrowhead 135, me and Bill were talking on the phone, and Bill could see the weather out 7 days, and so he said it's going to be -22. And that's cold. That is cold up there. But he's thinking it's doable. It's okay. It's going to be minus 22.